Hello, my little weirdos. Thought came to me about that disgusting display of arrogant ignorance by Rapist-Felon 47 and his little furniture-loving vice president. And then playing first base, he had Rubio over there. Considering that on his last term, his lame ass Melanie, her whole motto was supposed to be anti-bullying. And we just watched her husband make the most disgusting display of public bullying between politicians and the public gaslighting of literally a global audience. And this is what Republicans think they have the mandate to do, people. Every country that is not the United States of America, which we're the divided states of America currently, boycott us. Put the pressure on the Rapist-Felon 47. Put as much pressure as you need to. Stop him and his every single cabinet member, whatever means necessary. Okay? 3/4 of America is not going to blame you or hold you responsible. Okay? It's doing the planet a favor. Whatever you need to do to stop them. You know? Because Germany didn't stop Hitler and the Nazis themselves. It got out of hand. And you know, we've spent the last over 2 years, the progressives and the liberals have spent over the last 2 years warning of exactly this. Even before our Roe vs. Wade all abortion available type of thing, we warned you then, even before years before that was taken. We saw where it was going. When The Handmaid's Tale came out, I was late watching that. I didn't watch it till maybe 8 months after it came out. But I watched it all. And all the episodes. And I kept imploring y'all to do so. Because several episodes in, it tells you how it all started. And when they started showing those episodes, I flipped out like a lot of... And I understood why people that had started watching it at the beginning were flipping out, why there was so much talk about it. Because that's what got me to watch it. And I started also saying, oh my God, this is how in the story The Handmaid's Tale, how they were able to get America to that point. This is imperative, people, for all of those who thought we were exaggerating, who kept, thinking, those progressives and their hyperbole, always making it so dramatic. overstating things. Were we? Did what we warned would be the first things? Did those, are those, even if they don't come to fully pass, did they try it? Did they start it? So why do you doubt that The Handmaid's Tale is the way they want to go? The country run by rich people, and everything is centered around nationalistic Christianity, where the Bible is changed and everybody has to go by that. All the secular laws, which basically means dump the Constitution, which is exactly what happened in The Handmaid's Tale. So, kinda. So, for those of you that laughed at us 4 years ago, 6 years ago, because I've been yelling at least 6 years. At least. I yelled in graphic-wise against him the first time. But after I saw he was as bad as I thought, yeah, and it's been like 6 years. He's been on the scene about 10, maybe 9, 10. So most of the time, and I like I said, I spoke up from the start, but you know, I didn't want to do videos, but here I am, because y'all are very stubborn and you weren't listening. And you really weren't listening still, a lot of you. Fully. You didn't take action, did you? Until you saw what was happening. It had to wait till that. Because politics are so negative. I don't have for that. I keep up with the basics. We kind of said that wasn't enough to do, didn't we? So maybe, you know, today, because of the economic blackout, there was a lot of people, because the only time I did go onto Facebook was to make sure there wasn't anybody that was needing immediate help on my grief group, and to post graphics, and I would post like 6 at a time or something, so it wasn't on there all the time. I'd be on there, post them, get the hell off. But I did see people like, oh, it's not very busy today, and anybody know this, that, and stuff. And then and I was posting things, and so I posted about that, and then a few other people posted. And I started seeing people, well, how else can we help? Besides this, I mean, what else can we do? We'll help out. Is there anything else we can do between that and making calls? And I'm like, I had mixed emotions. It wasn't just 1 or 2 places. And it wasn't just like friends or just family or just strangers. It was a mix. And it's a mixed feeling, because my first reaction was a little more visceral. than it typically is for somebody who said I didn't vote for him except I did it the last time because of prices and, you know, two stupid issues or something. That were the exact opposites happened. And they're like, well, how could I help? And my first feeling is, you wait till it got that bad. And now you want to fucking know how you can help stop it. Little bit of that interest would have been nice about 3 fucking months ago. 4 months ago. When we were begging you to pay attention. When we were begging you, don't assume that Kamala Harris has it. Get out and vote. Don't assume. And we wouldn't be in this dilemma if you had listened 4 months ago. So it's kind of, and those of you who are just saying, oh wow, should I help out somehow? You got to understand, and you have to allow for us to be a little pissed off at the moment. Because if you were like friends or relatives or something, more than likely our friends and our relatives and people that know us have probably heard us going on and on about stuff, and you've all blocked it out, or a lot of you did. We wouldn't be having this discussion if you'd listened to us at any point up until 4 months ago. Let that sink in. All of the last 4 months, we would not be dealing with right now on the political and the world stage had all of you that had family and friends that have been yelling about politics on the progressive side all these years, if you had just effing listened, just half the time, or if you just listened and asked 6 months ago, how can I help? You could have made those 5 calls a day 6 months ago too, right? But you didn't have time then. Politics was just too negative in too small of your space of time, wasn't it? I'm glad you're willing to fight and publicly now. But I'm also fucking mad that I've heard others that have spoken about this, you know, talking in a members only type of a forum, and most of them have said their family or friends are more like, oh God, I didn't know about this and stuff. And I said, how do you deal with that when you're like, you had somebody right here telling you this shit all this time? What do you mean you didn't know? That's what you think of me? That you thought I was fucking nuts and obsessed with politics because I'm like weird? I suddenly became obsessed with politics, you know, when a particular person came on board. We shouldn't have to be that obsessed. At what point did you snooze out on us? What point was it? And it got to that point. And before you get defensive, step back and feel it from our shoes. Not only did you act like we were the crazy ones all that time. God, it's drink. Not only did you act like we were the crazy ones all that time, but now you just have gone to oh my God mode with the rest of the world. Totally, apparently not, most of us haven't, from the people that we know, and like either friends or relatives, roommates type of thing, and they're not even saying, oh my God, I am so sorry, you were right all along. Just, the courtesy. They're just acting like, what else can I do? I'm glad you woke up, but had you listened and paid a little bit and not disregarded us as easily as you did because it wasn't a comfortable topic. I didn't want to ever be in politics. I just want to know what was going on and be informed. I never want to get this involved. But some of us saw long ago that there was going to be a problem down the road if we didn't stop this. But we didn't get enough of you to help us out with that. So you have to give us some time before we're all like, yeah, come on, let's go. It's just like, it's very insulting. It's insulting to not tell your friend or your family or your coworker or your roommate that maybe has been telling you this shit all along to just act like it never happened. You were wrong for years. And if you were wrong and somebody has been trying to talk with you guys for years, but you always shut them down because politics is so negative or something, maybe you should say something to that person. Maybe you should apologize. Because let's face it, if you didn't act before the election and try to overcome this misinformation that the Republicans have set up, that was the time. And if you don't understand, stop being it about ego. Stop making it trying to act like you were not incorrect. Like you weren't disregarding that person. Because if that person was trying to tell you, then they valued you. And they wanted you to understand what was going on. But you just brushed them off. And you basically kind of worked against them by just... Most of us don't want to have that headache every night either. Okay, most of us don't have a passion for politics. We have a passion for not letting the politicians lie to you. And it just would be nice for those of us who have been doing the job of trying to keep it from already having overwhelmed us. It would have been nice to get some help, but it's time for you to be a little bit of like, I'm really sorry, what can I do? Can I help out? Is there something we can go to? Can we do something? How do because you really spent years acting like we were just far too obsessed with this. Far too obsessed. And you didn't listen to us. And it really... And I'm not alone in this, because a lot of other people that do these videos in that meeting were saying that they feel really upset because, like, their mom, or their cousin that used to always, say that either they were Trump supporters or they just were like, I don't follow politics. I just, I vote for whoever runs for my party type of thing. That's not good to do because people have got very deceptive. You've heard of Dino and Rhino. That's Democrat in name only, or meaning they serve. They're doing this now. This is several times has happened in the last decade. They'll run for one party because they know they can't win running for like Democrat in a red state. So they'll go for red. They'll run on the Republican, and then like 4 months in, flip over. They've done it the other way. They run for Democrat and then they swap over to the Republican. That's bullshit. Sinema did that. Ran as a Democrat and then flipped over months in. That's bullshit, okay? That kind of stuff you need to pay attention to, because if they're running for... You all probably voted for people like that, and you would have known the things that they said and shit didn't align with what they were claiming they were standing for. That's why it's important. And if you don't have the time to go through all of that, and you have the same kind of stance as somebody in your circle, and they're willing to spend that time and just tell you guys what's going on, you should probably at least fucking give them the respect to let them explain it to you if you're not going to fucking find it out for yourself. Show a little goddamn respect for the person and apologize. Because you've upset a lot of them. And a lot of them are guys. They're like, my nephew used to always, like, every time we were like, ooh, the holidays, it was like, and now he's all like Mr. fucking quiet. I don't really want to talk about politics. You're right. We shouldn't talk about politics. You've been saying it for years. You're right. Because their person's finally the public shame of the planet. Now they don't want to talk politics. All the other holidays they made miserable. You see what I'm saying? Even if you weren't like that, the fact that you just shut down somebody every time they talked about politics, and now you're like, well, how can I help? Did you not listen to anything at all? That's how we're feeling. Because they also said, one person said that her aunt gave her a very bad attitude. Like, well, I'm trying to help. The least, that's what she told us. She goes, I'm trying to help. The least you could do is appreciate that I'm coming to somebody that would know. I said, oh, so she tried to gaslight her too. I should be grateful. I should be grateful. It's like you were just... It's like her aunt was gaslighting her, like fucking Rapist-Felon 47 and the Furniture Lemon Dance did to Zelensky. That's exactly the kind of shit they just did. So if you have somebody in your family that's been trying to tell you this shit and you've always shut them down, you don't want to talk about politics, everybody gets into an argument, maybe you should have a little talk with them and tell them you're sorry. Maybe you should perhaps listen to them every now and then. Because just acting like you never acted like those people were obsessed with politics is not very fair. We all know who acted like we were just crazy. You just hate him so much that you're just imagining he'll do all these things. He's not even going to do them. How's that reasoning working out for you? I'm just saying. There's one person that, well, there's few people. have a membership to all of them because I can't. But even if it's just a few bucks a month, you know. But there's a few that I do, and it's the younger people, journalists, the Z, you know, Gen Zs, and quite a few of them have family members that are now acting like, wow, you know, you didn't tell me this stuff. And they're like, oh my God, you told me to shut up every time I talked about politics. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, there's more than one person I know like that in my life. Most of us have a few people, raspy, in our lives that are like that. It's just very upsetting. So if you were ever like that, if you've got somebody in your circle, either like I said, coworker, neighbor, roommate, family, friends, whatever, and they've been sounding the alarm, and you've been like blowing them off and poo-pooing them, and like, oh, you've got Trump derangement syndrome type of thing. Even if you didn't stand behind Trump, you'd still be like, God, you're really a little obsessed about him, huh? You know, maybe now's the time, if you've realized that maybe they were right. Maybe now's the time to give them a little chat and apologize for not helping stop it so we weren't in this position to start with. Because not getting in the position and not having our reputation on the global stage fucked to hell and back would have been a lot easier than trying to climb out of this mess. If we could ever get our self-respect as a country back on the global stage. So I'm just saying, like I said, I haven't said anything about that since the regrets. I haven't said much about it because I wasn't sure if it was just me with the, you know, a couple people that were like, haven't said anything. I'm like, interesting. And apparently not, because I saw it a couple days ago. That's why it's taken me this long to say something. But I saw it. It was like, oh, they did a members only, and it was a couple of like people that were on they're a bigger channel than me, but not like a David Pakman, you know, Brian Tyler Cohen kind of, you know, big. And it was several of them doing like, there were 6 of them. You know, looks like the old Brady Bunch shows. But, and they were discussing, and every single one of them were saying that they were feeling like kind of undervalued because they didn't, none of them, I think one of them said like it was a co-worker, I'm trying to remember, but most people did not get once the subject was, you know, broached, then it was just kind of like they ignored the fact that you've probably already told them what they could do to help. They just didn't pay any attention to it, and now they're asking. So if you get that kind of a look, and you have somebody in your life, and you ask them, well, how can I help? And you've never said, I'm sorry that I didn't fucking listen to you when we had the chance, then maybe you should say that about now to them. Because truth is, obviously, by the election results, most of you didn't listen to us. Or most of you assumed we were hallucinating delusions or saying the worst possible thing because we hated him so much, and there was no possible way any frickin' human being in America would ever do something as bad as what we were saying that they had plans for doing, or at least trying to do. Guess what? everything we warned you about. Right? So just a heads up. Anybody that you know personally that's been yelling this shit and you never wanted to discuss or hear anything about it from low information on politics people, you know what you need to do. Because those people have been taking the brunt of laughter and brush off about something we know was going to be fucking bad. And here we are, with all that work done for all those years, that something fucking bad, it's here. So it's not a pity party. I'm just saying, I thought maybe I was just a little overly sensitive. But when I saw that a few days ago, it was 2 days, two or 3 days ago. It was the end of the week. Oh, it was longer than that. Yeah. More like 5 days ago. Anyway, yeah, I realized that y'all are just acting like you didn't blow us off all that time. That's not cool. You already screwed up by not listening. You know, climb onto the right side, the correct side. Let's not say the right side. But you really need to apologize to anybody that tried to warn you and you didn't want to listen to. Because they weren't wrong, were they? Believe me, I take no pride. I take no pride in saying that. I would have much preferred to be like making a video 4 months ago saying, okay, I was wrong. He got elected and he hasn't done any of that shit. So I would have loved to have been wrong. But I and my cohorts weren't wrong. Might be nice for you to let them know that. Welcome to the fight. Don't ask what I can do without saying sorry I didn't listen to you.